Hey guys, welcome back to the Guitar Max channel. So I don't know about you guys, but I have really been rocking out to some of my favorite 80s metal albums lately. In particular, I've been listening a lot to Warrior, Fighting for the Earth. Such a classic, sort of under the radar metal album. And what's really crazy is this band didn't make another album until 1998. Ancient Future, which was also awesome. Now honestly, I'm kind of always on an 80s metal kick. But I also just got recently, I got some new wheels for my Jag Classic 5-spoke. These are actually kind of difficult to find because Jaguar hubs are really big, and so the center hub has to be really large on aftermarket wheels. Anyway, that's not what the video is about. So what I do want to talk about is this guitar here, which is my latest 80s metal guitar edition. This is a Kramer Voyager Classic with this awesome lightning bolt design on here. And I should stress that this is a new guitar. And by that I mean I just bought it new recently, but of course it's a classic model. And one thing I noticed when I bought it is that not all the stores that typically would sell Kramer products have this guitar. And some of them, if they do list it, they don't always have it in stock. So for whatever reason, this model is a little bit more difficult to get. Now this one here is the string through body version, but they do have another version of this guitar. It's the exact same, except it's got a Floyd Rose 1000 series on it. And so I've got this guitar, but if you guys recall, I also have this one here, and this one is actually a signature model. This is the Tracy Guns Gunstar Voyager, and this one is different in a few ways. For starters, it has the Floyd Rose on here. Also, this is a set neck model, and then on top of that, I mean, it's got the ghost flames and stuff, but also this one has a coil splitting capability on it, whereas this one over here, for one, it's got different pickups. This has the Seymour Duncan pickups, and there's no coil splitting on this one. But they do both have 22 frets on maple fretboards and maple necks. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep both of these guitars. I don't know if I need two Kramer Voyagers, even though they do have differences. But right now, I mean, I have them both, and I'm just in like 80s guitar heaven right now. I have been sort of eyeing some of the new models, some of the latest Jackson Rhodes models. I did a community post about that a while back. And I might be getting one of those, and so if I decide to get one of those, I think I might have to sell off one of these guitars, but I don't know, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know, if you guys go and like buy a whole bunch of Guitar Max t-shirts or something, then maybe I can just keep all of them. But I don't want to be greedy either. I mean, sometimes I just have to kind of let my children go out into the world and be adopted by other guitar players. So this guitar I have already reviewed, and if you want to check that out, I'll put a link for it in the video description below. But this video that I'm doing now is really going to be about this guitar. Now, when it comes to money, as classic 80s metal guitars go, these are pretty reasonably priced. This one is like $579, $580, and then the Floyd version is a little bit more. I think it's like $660, $670, right in there. So, you know, depending on which model you get, they're around $600. Now, obviously, as you can see, this has a maple fretboard and a maple neck. It's a bolt-on neck. The body is mahogany on this. The controls themselves are very simple. One thing that's kind of interesting about this guitar is it has a three-way toggle switch, but they use a mini toggle right down here instead of, you know, like a blade type switch or something. And then this is just a volume and a tone like you'd expect. Now the pickups are the Seymour Duncan, JB, and Jazz humbuckers. And it's a 25.5-inch scale length and a 12-inch radius on the fretboard. Now, one question that I get about these guitars a lot, like the star-shaped guitars or random star body guitars, is how does it balance, like when you're standing up with a guitar strap? So I've got a guitar strap here, and I want to show you guys exactly how this thing balances, if it has any neck dive or anything like that. Let's check this out here. Okay, so if I stand up here, let's put this thing on, and what does it do? Oh! Okay, so as you can see, this does have pretty substantial neck dive. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of that. One of the problems with that, like, you know, if you're playing just like riffs and power chords and stuff, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're trying to do any sort of intricate guitar work and you have to hold the neck up while you're playing, it's it's really like not conducive to awesome solos, let's put it that way. And sometimes people are like, oh, well, you just have to get a really heavy-duty guitar strap, like a really wide guitar strap that really sticks to you. Well, then it's just pulling on you or pulling on your shirt or your clothes. I mean, imagine if you're playing in Manowar or something and you don't have a shirt on, and it's just going to be pulling down on your pecs. Anyway, the big takeaway is, does it balance well? No. Does it have neck dive? Yes. Is that a problem for you personally? I don't know. I mean, the guitar looks amazing, and with my mentality of 80s metal guitar player showmanship, sometimes you have to make sacrifices to look cool. But I just want you guys to know ahead of time, if you're going to buy one of these guitars, they do not balance well when you're standing up. Now, when you're sitting down, actually they balance awesome, because you can hold it like this, or, you know, just on the right leg. So if you're sitting down, they're super comfortable, but you can't really play 80s metal sitting down. Now, one thing you could do to improve the balance issue is you could move where the strap button is. Something that a lot of people do on guitars that are shaped like this is they will take the strap button off of the upper horn here, and they will actually move it to one of the screws on the neck. And so that moves the strap connection point out a little bit, and that'll change the balance of the guitar, and it'll improve it. It's not going to be a huge difference. It's not going to like totally fix it, but it will make it better. Okay, so it looks awesome, cool specs, great fit and finish, doesn't balance that great, but how does it sound? Of course, we want to know that, so I'll go ahead and plug it in. I'm going to use my Fender GTX 100 amplifier. We'll go through a few different tones in there, and then you guys can tell me what you think about how it sounds. Now, real quick, guys, if you enjoy videos like this, checking out cool guitars, and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. All right, the Lightning Bolt Kramer Voyager. Let's listen to how it sounds. Okay guys, so I will say what this guitar lacks in balance, it makes up for in tone and playability. Now obviously the Seymour Duncan, the JB and the Jazz pickups, these are classic pickups, and Kramer has of course used them on a lot of their guitars. Also Jackson uses them on a lot of their models, and obviously there are good reasons why they are so popular. They just have a really sort of just a classic, very articulate tone to them, but it's articulate without ever sounding harsh. Now, in particular, these pickups, like the JB in particular, the bridge pickup, when you crank up an amp, like you can't hear it or experience it through a YouTube video, but if you're in like a rehearsal room or on stage, playing through an amp with these pickups, they have like a forcefulness to them. It's like a whoom whoom kind of sound. I mean, it's difficult for me to describe in words, but they just have their own feel and just sort of experience to them. Okay, now as far as the playability on this guitar, it is excellent overall. The neck has kind of a nice C shape to it. It's a pretty full feeling neck. It does have this nice taper on it that most Kramer guitars have, so it's wider up here and then it gets narrow as you head towards the headstock. And it's, you know, a satin finish on the back of the neck here. So overall, it's a very, very comfortable neck. Now, one other thing I noticed on this guitar is the frets here. Now, the frets are finished very nicely. They're very level. I'm not getting any dead notes or anything like that. But these are not really big frets. They're definitely not extra jumbo frets. I'd call them medium jumbo probably. Definitely a more medium size fret. And again, because they're finished well, the guitar still plays and responds really well. But if you're expecting like Jackson Custom Shop or like ESP, like monster frets, it's not going to be here. It's not going to be on this guitar. And I will say that the other Voyager I have has bigger frets. So if I have to sell one of these, I don't know. I like Floyd's and I like big frets. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now, something else I want to say just about Kramer in general. I'm just happy that I could get this guitar because Kramer has a really annoying habit of like showing the new models that they have and announcing all the cool new stuff that they're going to bring out, and then they don't bring it out. Or it comes out like a year later or something like that. So, I mean, this is such a cool guitar. I'm glad that this didn't just end up, you know, on the prototype pile. If you like 80s guitars at all, I mean, it's hard not to love this, even with, you know, the balance shortcomings and so forth. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. As always, I'm going to put links for everything down in the video description below. I will have links for both of the Kramer Voyagers down there, as well as the Fender GTX 100 amplifier. I will also put a link to my new merch. I've got some new t-shirts and stuff. And actually, if you like this t-shirt, this is actually not my t-shirt. This is from the Metal and Iron YouTube channel. My buddy Wayne, shout out to him. And, you know, one thing, I don't think I'm going to put links to the Vision Star 2 wheels. I just don't know if anybody's really going to buy any of these. But, you know, if you do like car stuff, I actually have a second channel where I talk about cars and airplanes, and that's called Heavy Metal Horizons. If you guys haven't already seen that, I'll put a link for that as well in the video description below. All right, so that's about it, guys. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon.